I'm so sorry. I just totally hit the wrong button. Come back. Come back. Oh no. Alright, I'll just find you again. Louise, there you are. Invite. Oh dear. Hi. Yep. Adding. Hi.
Hello.
So
Here
sorry.
we go.
All right, we'll get there. I hit the wrong button. Shut
That's
it down.
all right. We made it.
We did.
We made it. We're here. Hello.
All right. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you.
How's your
Thanks
Sunday
for
been?
opening up this space.
My pleasure. I'm loving these sessions. They're like bringing out so much juiciness into the world and into the group. It's so good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'd spoken only very briefly on what we would discuss today, and I had a bunch of notes, and I'm more of a go with it type of person, but I lost the notes, so I'm really excited to see what comes in.
Perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How's your Sunday been?
It's been really lovely. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. What'd you get up to?
Well, the weather here was just superb. Whereabouts are you based?
I'm in Brisbane.
Brisbane, yeah. So I'm on the Gold Coast. So yeah, spent the morning by the beach, and
Nice.
And
I love the Gold Coast. Well, I like South Gold Coast.
Yeah, well, I'm in Burleigh Heads.
There's something about that place, hey. I don't know what it is, but the energy in Burleigh is just something else. It's incredible.
I will agree with you on that.
Yeah. And then you've got Surfers Paradise, which is just up the road, and it's just polar opposite.
Well, this is my second time living in Queensland. I lived up here when I was 18 to 22, and it was incredible.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And then I went to Melbourne and moved overseas, and so now I'm back, and it's happiness.
Where are you from originally?
The South Coast, New South Wales, Bateman's Bay.
Oh, cool. Yep. Yeah. Awesome. You've got a similar story to me. I moved to Cairns when I first moved over from New Zealand, and then I went down to Melbourne for 5 years, and then went back to Cairns and ended up in Brisbane with my partner. Queensland's just beautiful, hey?
I know, I love it.
Yeah. All right, guys, make sure that you say hello when you jump on and give us some love hearts so that we know that you're there. My lives have been a bit funny the last couple of days, and I'm not actually seeing people jumping on. So if you are on, please let us know, say hello, or type a comment in the chat.
Yeah.
I've got my wine.
On my screen. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you see viewers?
Yes, I can.
Okay,
different
cool.
things are starting to pop up. Awesome. Hello, everybody.
Do you know how you actually share it on your page?
Yep, bottom left-hand corner.
Actually, I'm just going to do it straight from my computer because I've got that. Just quickly share this so that people can see we're on. Awesome, done. Cool. So I have been so looking forward to this topic. I have had such a roller coaster of a ride with body image stuff. Hey, from hating my body to just being in total awe of my body to wanting to change everything, to not wanting to change a thing, to wanting to lose weight, to wanting to get this massive roller coaster, to finally get to a place now where I just have so much love and respect for my body. How about you? What's your journey been like? And when you posted that
Well,
comment
my journey,
about,
I
oh,
think
I
this
don't
will
think
sort of
people,
surprise people, but I've just seen
yeah, this,
someone, yeah, it's I've never really had a lot of issue with body image. There's been like a couple of times in my life that I've like, really committed to going to the gym and, exercising constantly, but I've never really looked in the mirror and not liked what I've seen. And I know that that
mm-hmm,
surprises a lot of people because
yeah.
it's, but that's just the way that it is personally for me. And I'm a
But that's
size
amazing.
14, yeah, 12, 14, and have always been. And yeah, I can say that I've never really looked in the mirror and disliked my body. I've just always been in that self-acceptance of who I am. And,
Gosh, that's
I,
incredible.
yeah, it does surprise, but
Like,
I've always been
seriously,
extremely confident.
that's
Yeah.
amazing because there's so many, like, you would be one of very few that I would imagine that have that. Like, pretty well every woman that I ever speak to has some kind of hang up on their body, about their body. And it's
I
heartbreaking
think
how
as well,
much,
for me, is it's always been this belief of I've only got one body. If I didn't like it, then, I could go and do different things. But I've also grown up in a small town community as well. But with, my mum, bless her, she is so beautiful inside and out, and I love her. But, watching her going for walks every morning at 5 a.m. and, doing the latest diet and working out so much. But
yeah,
really that didn't create her happiness, And then
yeah,
when I've seen like her in the best shape of her life, when she's happy with all the other aspects. So everything just falls into place. So, yeah.
yeah, awesome. So I can imagine that too, her kind of obsession, or her working out and everything, was a really unhealthy obsession
Well, it wasn't
to
like
try and,
but she needed it, for her as well as most people do. I've got many good friends now, and they go, "Well, my jog is your meditation," or my, going to F45 is you going and doing yoga, or
yeah,
and so different people need different things, their endorphins, and to counteract this, their chemical balances, which exercise is so great for. So
so she wasn't actually obsessing about it in regards to the way she actually physically looked. She was more doing it for her kind of downtime and her
but
meditation and that
they're
kind of
all
stuff.
over. They're all over. But
Yeah, okay.
it was never really that complete. And so many people in my life, from the early stages of when I was a young child, just saying, oh, like I wish I could lose this weight or drop this, or I wish my thighs weren't so big, or all of these stories that would run. It was like, but you're beautiful. It's like, well, and
Yeah.
my thing now is, if you, and this is, saying I'll probably continue to talk about it, but I'll let it come up now. But if you wouldn't say it to your best friend or to your sister or to your mum, why would you say it to yourself? Because the words that we say have
Yeah.
such a profound impact on us. So when we are saying, oh, like, all of these harsh and negative things, the mind's going to believe it, because that's what the mind does.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've got to
Yeah,
make sure
absolutely.
that
And I
those words
love
that we are
that.
to ourselves, and yeah, that we are talking to our best friend. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such a beautiful way of reminding yourself to be kind to yourself, because it's true. Like, if you wouldn't say it to your sister or your best friend, why would you say it to yourself?
Yeah.
Like, I'm very much in a space now where I'm like, I am my own best friend, and the way that I choose to
Yeah.
speak to myself is incredibly kind. And whereas it previously wasn't like that, it didn't always used to be like that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I grew up in a household where, like, my mum didn't exercise at all, or there wasn't a focus on weight loss or anything like that. Yet I developed this whole oh no, I need to be a certain size to be loved. I need to, lose the weight. I need to have a thigh gap. I need to, have all of these
Yeah.
limitations put on myself to be, which meant that I would be okay rather than just
Mm-hmm.
fully self-accepting. So it's funny how there's that kind of polarity between it not being something in my life at all, yet I was fully impacted. And then your mum was quite, into her exercise and stuff, and you went the opposite way.
Yeah,
So do you think it's
absolutely.
maybe something, for me, it feels like it's something that we're really born with. It's not
Yeah,
necessarily something that we're always learning.
yeah, definitely. But with the mind, from the age of 0 to 7, you're in a very much a hypnotic state, and so when you're
Yeah.
in that state of absorbing everything, you're seeing what's working and what's not working for different people, and your
Mm.
parents are your greatest teachers. None of us can, or those that your caretakers that are around you, and so you're taking it all in. So I do think in those early on stages is it you're picking up, oh well, that isn't working for that person, and so I've got to do these things to then not be like or to be like. And yeah, we're very
Yeah.
much adapting to our environment at those early stages.
Yeah, true.
Sky Robinson, what is a thigh gap?
A thigh gap is where your legs, like your thighs, don't touch. There's a gap between your
Yeah,
thighs. It's also referred to as a box gap. It's lovely. It's absolutely lovely.
yeah,
And I'm pretty sure it's something a
yeah.
dude came up
Such a
with.
beautiful word. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, so one of my first questions for you was, have you always had a loving relationship with your body? And you've just answered that for us,
Yeah,
which is
like
an
don't get me
incredible
wrong.
thing.
There's been probably like a couple of stages. I always remember my best friend will giggle at this one with me as well, because when we'd be somewhere, we'd lived together for a really long time, and we'd be somewhere and we'd go, "Do I look like her or do I look like her?" And she'd go, "No, like your body's different." Like so, I don't know if there was times in my life that I just genuinely, you know, don't like that movie like Shallow Hal when they look in the mirror, and or the most recent one, I Am Pretty, where she
Oh,
doesn't
I
see
haven't
like
seen
that's
that yet.
me. Yeah, okay, so
Yeah, okay.
everybody that is watching or that will watch, go and see the film I Am Pretty. Amy Schumer has just brought it
Yeah.
out, and I really resonated with that film, like really resonated with that film, because yeah, yeah, I can walk down the street and just be sassy. Like I'm very confident and always have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that film,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome.
It's like it's my story.
But for me, like, to look at you, you look like a beautiful woman. So I would think that
Oh
that
yeah.
would be something that would just naturally
And it has been that process.
happen.
I've worked within the retail industry for a really long time as well, and so you constantly have beautiful
In
women
the what
coming
industry,
into
sorry?
the store in retail. So
Oh,
in
retail.
clothing.
Yep.
Yep. So
Yep.
early from when I was 18 through to 23, I was a regional manager for a clothing company here in Australia. And so I've served thousands, hundreds of thousands of women trying on clothes, and the way that they speak to themselves when they're in that changing room. And then, they come
Mm.
out and, does my bum look big? Do my thighs look big? And, oh, like I hate this or I hate that. And it's like, well, you've only got what you've got.
Yeah.
How, and my question when they come into the store is always, how do you feel? Because if you feel, you're going to look good.
Yeah.
It's when you don't feel good, you then not going to look good. So whether or not it's you don't feel comfortable, you have
Absolutely.
to hike that dress up, or you have to wear, Spanx, which, if anybody's wearing Spanx, they're awful.
Yeah, no, never. I
So,
refuse to go near them.
find a different dress. Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And I
so
can so
it's,
relate to that, because the times that I've worn something that hasn't fitted me right, or just has like been maybe a size too small or a size too big, and I just haven't felt good in it, I haven't
Yeah,
had the confidence to wear it. So it makes a
absolutely.
huge difference. If you
Yeah,
feel good, that confidence just comes out of you, and it doesn't matter
that's
what you're
it.
wearing. You could be wearing a sack and you'll still
Well,
fucking
and
look
that's what they
amazing, you
always
know?
say. You know, even growing up, it was like, oh, she could wear a potato bag and still look good. And it's
Yeah.
like, well, because you're confident and that outweighs it. So
Yeah.
yeah, it really doesn't matter. If you feel good, you're going to look good because you're carrying yourself. You know, usually your posture's a bit higher, you know, your shoulders are back and,
Head
you
held
know,
high and
yeah. And there's a, you know, that fake it till you make it. Well, I say fake it till you become it as well. So if you've got to hold your shoulder up, you know, a bit high and it might feel uncomfortable, but do it until it just becomes you.
becomes
Yeah.
normal. Exactly. It's creating that new
Mm.
habit. Hey, just going, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it will feel uncomfortable and it will be confronting to start with. But once you practice it, like anything, and
Yeah.
practice it and practice it, it
Yeah.
becomes the norm.
And if you've ever seen a
Yeah.
child trying to learn the alphabet, it takes a while and we still learn at that, you know, rate. So
Sorry, you cut out a little bit there. The child
like a
learning
child
the what?
learning the alphabet, you know, they
Okay,
have to
yeah.
say it time and time again.
Time and time
And so
again,
to
yeah.
rewire ourselves and that thought patterning, and yeah, it takes its time.
Definitely. Yeah. And that's the thing, I think, too, a lot of people want that quick fix. They want it fixed overnight. I want to take that pill and lose the weight. I want to have one salad and be skinny. I want to do one
Yeah.
workout and drop 10 kilo. Like, it just
Yeah.
doesn't
But
work
as
that
well,
way.
looking at it as well, if you're carrying excess weight, especially on the back, you know, there's different, I don't want to get like
Emotional
too spiritual
reasons.
here, but like, what are you carrying? You know,
Yeah,
what are you not letting go
absolutely.
of? It's, you know,
Absolutely.
there's a lot more to things as well, and it can very easily be looked up. You don't
Yeah.
need me.
I'm a huge, huge believer in weight loss is so much more psychological than people actually realize.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely.
And I work
So
in
how do you,
therapy, so
sorry?
I was just about to say I work in a therapy as well, which de-encodes trauma. And so it does have very rapid responses, and the body's response to letting go of, you know, trauma that's been held on for, you know, years. I've had clients where it's been 40, 50, 60 years that they've held on to things, and then it's just
Wow.
gone. Yeah. And the
That's
effects that it
crazy.
has on the body, yeah, is just phenomenal.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. It's so powerful. I love this. I love this so much. It just, uh,
Yes. Yeah.
it's like, I'm so passionate about learning all about this brain in our heads and this mind and the power of it because it's so much untapped power in there.
Well,
I'm a huge believer.
yes and no, because the mind is actually very simple. Yes,
True.
there's so much out there that really complicates it, but the mind's job is to keep you alive, right?
The
And
ego, it's the ego that's
yes, but
job to
you know,
keep you alive.
it's here to protect us. Oh no, we don't like that, and stay away from that, and that's not good for us, and that might be dangerous. And you know,
Yeah.
remember, you know that movie Jaws, and so we don't go in the ocean because we're scared of sharks or whatever it may be. And so the mind's job is to keep us alive, and then the mind likes what's familiar. So it's
Mm-hmm.
always going to go towards what feels good and what you've been through before, which is why a lot of people repeat the same things and the same cycles in their life, because the mind doesn't like what's not familiar. So
Or
if
uncomfortable.
trying, and what's uncomfortable. So when trying to create a new habit, it's about making the familiar unfamiliar, and what's
Mm-hmm.
unfamiliar making that familiar. So, you know, one of the bigger things for me was like checking my phone when I wake up in the morning. That's something that's
Yes.
become so familiar to me that's really hard. So I realize that I need to break this pattern. So I need to make what has been familiar unfamiliar, and what's been familiar unfamiliar. Yeah,
Yeah,
if that,
cool. I love it.
in a way. Yeah, because the
I think that's
mind
something that
is,
I think that's something that a lot, like I'm in the process of breaking that pattern myself of not reaching my phone first thing in the morning, making sure I'm
and
getting
it
up
can
and
have such a
exercising and
profound
nourishing.
difference.
Huge, huge. I find the days that I pick up my phone straight away, I am so much more demotivated than the days where I actually get up and get stuck into my day and then pick up my phone like later. I don't know, I feel lighter. And today I did like from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. of zero social media. I wasn't even on my phone and I was present. I got so much shit done. I didn't feel anxious. I wasn't feeling stressed. I was just like in the moment, having fun with my kids, you know, hanging out with my
Yeah.
partner. It was just incredible.
It is so
So
important, but I
incredible.
think as well when you do it, I recently did it for a whole week off Instagram, a whole week, and Facebook. I went about 3 weeks,
Nice.
and but the amount of times that you go to pick up your phone, you just go, "Oh my gosh, this is so bad!" Like
I caught
it's
myself watching the clock saying, oh, is it? Oh, I've still got a couple of hours before I can check social. I'm like, Nick,
yeah,
this is terrible. You're
yeah,
addicted. So addicted.
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
But that's all right. Well, that leads perfectly into my next question is like, how do you think
Mm.
that social media and society in general are like impacting women and the way that they view their bodies? I think it's,
There's a massive shift going on, which like
mm,
thank God it's here. In my opinion, we're seeing so many, shifts going on. And I'm really intrigued and curious to see how it unfolds. Um, because, yeah, there's sort of a lot. And I know even like at the Fashion Week just here in Sydney, just gone, there was one of the Break Warren, if anybody's heard of her, but she's like a size 12 swimsuit model, and she was the first plus size, as they call it, Sydney Fashion Week.
size
And I was like,
12.
size 12, I know. But again, it's making what's unfamiliar familiar.
Yeah.
And so, we've been seeing size 6 and size 8s, and there's still, there's a lot's going to come from that as well, because anybody that you talk to that's done modeling over the last 20 years, the psychological issues that they've had to go through to get there, and now it's all of these, everybody's a model,
Yeah.
so I think that the shift is really exciting, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go. But when it comes to me and social media, and what I do is I'm very careful on who I follow. So
Yeah.
on my, Instagram, which is mainly just pictures, if something comes up and I sort of don't vibe with it or go, oh, that makes me question myself in a sense. So, or I don't like that, I just simply unfollow it then and there.
Yeah.
So therefore, I just don't view it, and I don't allow it to be in my space. There's even one company, because it's all marketing. Like it's not,
Yeah,
none of it's
exactly.
real. So a lot of social media is not real. There's
Yeah.
people here, like, right now I'm sitting in my track pants. Like that's real. I've got a golden milk latte. But
Yeah.
there's a lot out there that isn't, and it's so easy to be fooled. And I do, worry about the younger generations and the people that are, are growing up in it. But if we catch it in
Yeah.
time, then I think it's going to end up
And that's
okay.
why I think, well, it's definitely important for, obviously the parents to actually, this reminds me of a story I wanted to share. My partner plays netball sometimes, and we were there watching a game with, I was with my boys and he was playing, and there was a little girl next to me. And have you heard of Musically?
No. Oh, the
It's like
singing?
an app for kids. Yeah, yeah, something like that. Anyway, she was showing me
Yeah.
all about this, and she was 8 years old, and she was showing me all her videos and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, cool, that's amazing. And then she started talking to me about how she'd just recently gotten some makeup. And I was like, makeup? You're only 8. And she was like, yeah, but I wear makeup. And I'm like, oh my God,
Mm.
you're 8. And I'm like, so why do
Yeah.
you wear makeup? And she was like, because it makes me look pretty. And I was
Mm.
just like, my heart just sunk. And I was like, but do you think you're pretty without the makeup? And she was
Yeah.
like, well, not really. And I was like, you are
Mm.
beautiful just the way that you are. You
Yeah.
do not need makeup. She's like, no, but it makes me look better. And I was just like, oh, like I just felt this knife going into my chest. I was like, I just wanted to take her
Yeah.
and wrap her up and just protect her. She was 8. 8. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what is her mother doing?
Yeah.
Like, and that's where I think it's such a massive responsibility, especially in this day and age, that
Mhm.
the parents are really instilling that positive stuff in their kids, especially between those 0 and 7 years, so that they know that they are lovable. Because it's true, like social media is the highlight reel. You only see
Mhm.
highlight reels. And
Yeah.
for the young kids that don't understand this, it can be seriously damaging, I think.
Yeah. Absolutely. Gosh, I remember being a kid and dressing up as Shane Warne. It was like sports icon. Um,
I love
not to
that.
think,
That's
of course
awesome.
we would, yeah, play like dress ups and things like that. But yeah, there's just such yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. But I think definitely the parents. I would like to see the schooling system having programs. There's an incredible program in New South Wales called the Girl Campaign, and Kimberly Elk runs that, and it's about instilling positive belief systems into girls and running workshops within the schools in the Eurobodalla. And I just
Oh,
absolutely
awesome.
love everything that she stands for, because the girls need to hear that. And she actually goes through how Photoshop is used and how it can, shape this and do this. And just think, if they've got that knowledge at that young age, their perception on a lot of things that they see is going to be a lot different.
Yes,
Because,
definitely.
yeah, because growing up, there was, all of the magazines and Cosmo and Dolly and things like that. But I really feel that they created a space for people to feel like they were a part of a community, where I think the Instagram sort of makes you feel like you're a part of the universe,
You're what,
because
sorry?
you like a part of this universe, because
Mm.
like the social universe, because at an instant you're connected to the Kardashians and then the Leonardo DiCaprio and the Oprahs and all of these people, and so it's sort of that becomes a part of you know your your field, your network, compared to when we were
Mm.
just at school and we had the playground to deal with. They've got
Yeah.
yeah, but I wouldn't know where to start, and I'm not a parent. I'm an auntie, and a very proud auntie, and I really
Of
praise
girls?
my. I've got my stepsister has 2 girls. One is 14, 15. Sorry, Layla, and Katie is 12. How old is Katie? 6. I think I've gotten those wrong. How bad's that? And then I've got Lyra, who's 3. So
Yeah, okay.
Katie's 15. 15 and 9. 15 and 9, yeah. So, and they've just been brought up just so beautifully. I know. It's, but, and I really praise the way that they've brought up their children. You know,
Yeah,
they have
cool.
no interest in being on social media. They're down at the beach every day, and yeah. But
Yeah,
you know,
awesome.
the thing as well is that every parent is just doing the best with what they know at the time, and
Oh,
so
absolutely. And
yeah,
that's why it's amazing that stuff is kind of coming into play where people are able to learn more skills, and this kind of stuff is being brought into the light, whereas previously I think it hasn't. It's just been well, no one has actually realized how damaging this stuff can actually be, so I think it's just been kind of
yeah.
left to kind of
Well,
cruise,
and
whereas now
this is where social media can play a good part as well, because
absolutely.
and radio and all of those different ways. Because even the other day, I was listening to the radio, which I never do. Like, my TV doesn't even get turned on in my unit, so even to have like the radio on was quite different. And they were doing like a radio call up. There was a bride that did her wedding day and didn't wear any makeup, and so people were calling in and the radio hosts were talking, saying, would you get married makeup free? And 99% of them said that they wouldn't do it. But that's fine. You know, I probably still wouldn't go makeup free on my wedding day. But it's also creating the conversation.
Yeah.
And it's making people go, oh, well, hang on, you know, because I go days where I won't wear makeup at all. And then, like last week, I put a full face of makeup on. I had to get like a headshot photo done. And at the same time, I sort of thought, this is a little bit silly that I've put on so much makeup. But then I did it, and I was like, oh, like, stop it. Like, I just look incredible. You know, not to say that I can't have that feeling when I don't have a full face of makeup on, but I will say I almost didn't feel like it was me. You know, it was like a mask that I was wearing by having all of this makeup on. But I enjoyed it because it was a total novelty.
Yeah. And I think too, like with makeup, like I never wear makeup unless like I got some a photo shoot done and I got some light makeup put on for that. But other than that, I never wear makeup. It's not my thing. Yeah. But I think too, like in the way, and I've got a girlfriend who wears makeup all the time, and she's actually a makeup artist. She's the one that did the makeup. And I was talking to her about it, and she's like, yeah, but I don't wear makeup because I don't like the way I look. I wear makeup. She said, I don't view makeup as something negative. I view it as something to enhance beauty, not actually make you beautiful. And I was like, well, that's actually quite a nice way to look at it, because then, you know, if you enjoy putting it on just for like the creativity of it and being able to express yourself, then that's amazing. But I think where the line is being crossed is if it's actually being used as a form of making yourself feel good enough, making yourself feel beautiful, you know, for external purposes only, then that's where it's that kind of line is crossed, because it's not actually.
I think as well for like anybody that is watching it and, you know, sort of going, oh, like there's a lot of the different opinions here, because there really is. It's finding what works for you and what feels right for you as well when you tap into that. You know, because I know like the other day it was a whole experience for me, you know, like I laid the things out and I was like, ooh, like, you know, this is fun. It wasn't like a chore.
Yeah.
I suppose.
And I guess I wonder if that comes from not doing it every day.
Yeah, well, maybe. Yeah, and I would say so. Man, there was a moment that I was like, I can see why people do this every day, because it is like putting on a mask.
Yeah, it's quite amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it was a really really bizarre feeling, but at the same time I wanted to wash it off.
Yeah, I find it feels heavy on my skin. And I've
like
just
another
never
layer, isn't it?
and it feels dirty. I don't feel clean. I don't feel, I don't know what it is. I remember in high school I used to wear a bit of like mascara, but that was probably about it. I was never one to really
I
cake
don't
my
think in
face in
school we're
makeup.
allowed to wear more than mascara.
Oh, we were.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in New Zealand, in small town. We were allowed to wear.
Yeah. No, I
whatever.
think it was like a bit of bronzer and mascara.
Yeah, okay.
And that's
but even going out when we were younger,
schools could enforce as well. I don't know, it might be a bit beyond
no makeup.
You know, you and I, but yeah, you know, there might be, you know, times that I say some of the more Catholic or like, stricter schools might, but
I think it's a positive thing to not encourage that until at least later in life when they're a bit older and understand it more.
Yeah.
That's my personal opinion.
Yeah.
So, you know, how important do you believe it is that women learn to really love and appreciate their bodies? Like, how much of an impact can it have in someone's life when they get to that point of just loving themselves?
Yeah, massively, because when it comes to showing up in every other area of your life as well, it's, you know, your relationships with your children, with your partner, at work, you know, how you feel when you order a coffee at the coffee shop, you know, a woman that really like loves herself and is able to be loved by others, because we can't love anybody until we love ourselves, and you know, truly love. And so for me, it's the most important thing. But unworthiness and not feeling enough is the biggest thing that's affecting humanity, in my opinion.
That's what I learned the other day. That's a global belief. I am not good enough is a global belief. Every single person believes that.
Yeah. So again, like with my therapy that I do, it's every client that sits in front of me walks in for, you know, whatever's coming up for them, or, you know, what they're wanting to move away from a past trauma. And it all comes down to not feeling worthy and good enough. That's the biggest thing. That when we sort of get down and, you know, get chatting, that's always there.
Yeah.
If we build resilient children, we will then have resilient adults, and the world will be a better place, in my opinion.
Amen to that. I could not agree with you more.
Yeah.
I actually started, well, I've got an idea in my head, or I've kind of semi-started a thing called Whole and Happy Little Humans, which is about getting to kids between the ages of 0 and 7 and teaching them, you know, power affirmations and power poses and loving their bodies for reasons outside of what they look like. Yeah, and it's like, it's on my heart massively to really impact this stuff. How do you get past that? What exactly, Sky?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions along the way, just pop them in. See people that jump on and jump off. So say hello. I'd love to know who is watching. But
yeah, absolutely. Give us some love hearts and likes. How do you get past that? What were we talking about? Can't remember.
I don't know. She's talking about the worthiness, feeling worthy.
Oh, believing you're not enough.
Yeah. Look, and it can come down to
not good enough.
So many different things. It's not good enough. Yeah. So, like for me, different things happen in our life which then affect us and, you know, create belief systems that we have now. So whether or not it is, you know, a parent, you know, saying something to you when you're a child, or a guardian saying, you know, stop, like, you know, or even being, I know from a personal story of mine, I had gotten into trouble for telling a fib to my parents, and my brother had promised that he wouldn't, we'd stick with our lie. So we wouldn't tell our parents that we'd poured our dinner out in the garden, and my parents confronted us, and we used to get separated as kids. So my brother would go off into the room and came back, and then I got taken off. So I said, no, we ate it. And my brother had said straight away, we poured it out in the garden. And from that time, I then got into trouble. From that time, I had this like belief system of, well, I'm, you know, I don't get listened to, but also that you can get into trouble for keeping promises. And so this is something that had stuck with me for a really long time. I know it's not really answering your question, but when I then let go of that story of, you know, sort of having to feel like, you know, I had to make up stories, or who was I protecting, that then completely, you know, blew my mind that it was a story I'd been holding on to for so long that wasn't impacting me anymore. So when it comes to moving away from not feeling good enough, it's looking at what's happened in your life that's made you feel that you are not good enough, and working on those, working through those. And other ways, you know, there's, like, what I do is called havening techniques. It's very new here in Australia, but there's, you know, hypnosis, there's EFT, there's yoga, there's meditation, there's affirmations, there's, you know, just waking up in the morning and taking
Energy
5
work.
big deep breaths. Yeah, there's so much that you can do that to
And
move
just,
away
I
from
think,
what's given you this belief.
yeah, absolutely. And for myself and my personal journey, I had a big thing around men, like not believing I was good enough to be loved by a man.
Yeah.
Um, and that belief was formed because I had a really fucked relationship with my father growing up. And then my first love cheated on me.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I was just like, right, well, that set my belief and solid that I wasn't good enough, I wasn't worthy. My next few relationships were horrific. Like, just,
Yeah.
I was constantly causing fights. I was constantly trying to push people away. I would just fly off the handle because I was so afraid of being hurt, so afraid of, being cheated on again or being left again, that
Mm-hmm.
I just did everything in my power to basically self-sabotage those
Yeah.
relationships. And I really found that the things that helped me to move through that were getting really, really fucking radically honest with myself and where I was. So I kept denying that there was anything wrong with me and
Mm-hmm.
that I had anything to deal with. And when I really got really radically clear on that, I removed all men from my life, just completely
Yeah.
shut off from all men. I had all these guys in the wings that I was kind of keeping there as my emergencies, and I got
Mm-hmm.
rid of all of them completely. And I really spent a good 6 months just focusing on myself, focusing on the reasons I am enough and I am worth love, the reasons doing the things that really make me happy in my soul, that light me up,
Yeah.
without a man, and just removed all men completely without a man and really connected back to myself. And then obviously I decided, right, I'm ready. I've got needs. I want to have some fun, and was ready to kind of step back into dating. And then,
Yeah.
after a couple of dates, I met Gary, my partner, and all of this work that I'd done on myself, I was like, yep, cool, I'm feeling really good. And then got back into a relationship and stuff kept coming up. More stuff. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. Oh, he's doing this. I'm not worthy. Oh, he's doing this. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
worthy. And being in that situation where I was like, okay, I really love this man, really love this guy, and I really want this to work. And I just got into that point where enough was enough. My line in the sand had happened. Enough was enough. And I'm like, I'm not allowing this to rule my life anymore. And facing those fears, just facing that stuff head on and going, oh yeah, so him looking at another woman means that you're not good enough? Really? Really? Interesting. Why is that? What's that
Yeah.
got to do with anything? You
Yeah.
look at other men, why is it any different for him?
Mm-hmm.
And just calling myself up on my bullshit,
Yeah.
basically. Just going, you know what,
Well,
fuck it,
even
I'm not doing this anymore.
I've just gotten onto the Byron Katie, is it true?
Oh,
And
what's that?
yeah, so Byron Katie, she has like 4 simple like questions, and I'm not going to say them because I don't know them. But her first one is it true? So when we've got this, this thing
The
that's annoyed her
story that
for
we're running.
this story, is it true? And half the time it's not true. And if it is true, then it goes into, well, why? And yeah, from there. But it's a really interesting, I'm very intrigued and curious to read into more of it because it is.
Cool.
It's
I'll
going,
get you
well,
to
is it
pop that
true?
in the
Yeah,
comments.
yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing. It's like I've been telling myself this story for years and years and years, and I've been doing the same things over and over and over again, and getting the same
We're
results.
repeating the
So
same cycle because it was familiar.
exactly,
Because the
yeah,
mind likes what is
absolutely,
familiar. Yeah.
absolutely, and it was safe. It was my ego keeping me safe because that's new. That it knows how to kind of protect me in that situation. But to actually fully step into love and self-love and be with a man
Yeah.
and be vulnerable and allow him to actually love me and
Yeah.
believe that he loves me, whoa, that's like really, really unfamiliar
Mm-hmm.
territory,
Yeah.
massively. But
Absolutely.
since going, you know what, fuck it, I'm
Yeah.
taking back control of this and stepping into that, wow, it's amazing. The shit that just
Mm-hmm.
drops off. And there's still stuff coming up, and there's going to be
Yeah.
stuff coming up forever,
Yeah.
always. It's that
Absolutely.
constant, layers, but it's, yeah, just choosing that, deciding that enough is enough and that you deserve more And I
Yeah.
feel that doing that full 6 months of work on myself before getting into a relationship, had I not done that, I wouldn't be with Gary now.
Well,
But
you
having
wouldn't
done
have,
that,
because in order to truly love, like I said before, you've got to start with yourself. And when you have that relationship with
absolutely,
yourself, then you're able to have relationships with others.
absolutely, could not
Yeah.
agree more.
Yeah.
So important, so important. And that's where I think a lot of people forget. They're kind of looking for that external validation, that external love, and not
Yeah.
realizing that you have to find it. And it's not, it can be scary, but it's fucking liberating at the same time when you get to that space, where
Absolutely.
your happiness is entirely solely dependent on yourself. None of this shit out here. Like, it's a beautiful
Yeah.
space, incredible space to be in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And I
for
think such
body
a strong,
image, especially, like
yeah.
I think that, for years and years, I battled with that stuff so much. And to now actually get to that point where I look in the mirror and actually love what I see
Mm.
is just, it's freedom. Yep, that's
Yeah.
my other one. I don't deserve anything good. Yeah, interesting, Sky.
Yeah. And you're not alone there. There's a lot of people, a
No.
lot. Yeah. It's, just be
We
gentle
all
with
have our
yourself.
little stories running.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just when you hear them, just, hush, just quiet your mind, find yourself a distraction. That's probably, when those thoughts do come up. Like the power of, colouring in books. It's a form of meditation.
Love.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's so good.
absolutely. It's, and like my therapy, it's just touch, so human touch. You hear a baby crying and you pick it up, and chances are you rub its arms, its face, or it wants to hold hold your hand. And what this does is
Yeah.
it produces delta wave in the brain state. So when you are having these thoughts, I highly recommend just to, self-soothe and
Yeah,
allow
awesome.
the mind to calm. Yeah.
And that's such a beautiful thing to be reminded of, is because when we are, babies and young children, and we are upset, we want that touch, don't we? We crave that. That's what makes us
Well,
calm and
a
settles
baby
us.
only has two fears, and
Mm.
a baby's two fears is that it will be abandoned and that it will die of starvation. That's the only two things that a child. I don't know under what age. I think it's
Yeah,
before
okay.
crawling. But they're the only two fears it has. It doesn't. It isn't thinking about anything else.
Yeah, see, that's interesting, because I wonder if that's a bit later, because I recently read that we're born with two fears, which are loud sounds and the fear of falling. So I wonder if
So
those other two
they're
kind of develop a
so
little bit later.
so they're instilled with humans. So it's not natural for us to hear loud sounds, or we don't have wings, so we can't fly. So it's
Mm-hmm.
naturally, that's why so many people have, fears of heights as well, because we aren't genetically coded to be comfortable with height.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and that's instilled from birth. Yeah.
Yeah.
A
It's
baby
incredible.
doesn't, if you put a baby on a cliff, it's just going to walk over it because it doesn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But as an adult,
Just visual. That
we
visual.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Mm.
Awesome. Going to try the
Try the
self-soothing.
self-soothing. Yeah, please do,
Yeah,
Sky.
cool.
It's, I'm, yeah. I won't get into it. We need a whole nother Facebook Live to talk about why I am big on self-havening.
So what would be the best things for her to try, like rubbing the arms or
Yeah.
the
So
cheeks or?
the arms and the cheeks. The cheeks just feel so good. And what you can actually do is if you cross your arms over, it feels like somebody else is doing it.
I'm going to try that right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
it
so good.
does.
It does, doesn't it? And so
It really does.
I know we're all going to end up like half asleep
Yeah.
here.
Just
Um,
like,
but when you're doing it, if you've got thoughts coming up of, finding an affirmation that feels comfortable for you, but calm and relaxed. Calm and relaxed. I'm at ease, all is well in my world. Or my favorite is I'm enough. I'm enough.
yeah. Yeah, beautiful. And breath, like I really find breath incredibly powerful and just breathing like
It's our
right
life
into your
force.
stomach.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Breathing into your belly and just like putting your hand on your stomach on your womb space and really connecting to there is so powerful.
yeah.
Confusing
And
left and right
letting
brain.
that,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. It's but the breathing into the belly and turning it into a balloon is yeah. You
I love
can't
it.
forget about your breath, and your mind won't forget about your breath, but we forget about our breath.
Take it for granted,
We're
hey?
all breathing.
It just
Yeah,
happens.
we're all breathing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
constantly.
we just have to remember that it's there.
Yeah. And it's such a powerful tool. It is like one thing that we all do every single day without even thinking about it. But when you think about it and use it, oh man, it's such a powerful tool
Yeah,
in all
absolutely.
areas. It's incredible. Breath.
Yeah.
So what does having a healthy body image mean to you?
Everything. Body image, again, it's so individual to everybody. But if you're finding, things about yourself, one of the first things I always remember, and this has taken me back a few years, was I was with my best friend's mum and she said, "Thank you, feet." And I sort of looked at her and I was like, I just worked 16-hour long days and she's like, "Thank you, feet." I thought, yeah, we often to forget
Mm,
about these things that are so simple, like our breath that we're just discussing, that when we start to thank our body, the shifts will happen within us as well. And
mm-hmm.
by, thank you, feet, or thanking that part on your body that you are struggling to overcome will allow that self-love muscle to continue to work. And again, the
Mm-hmm.
mind will believe whatever you tell it. So just tell it what you want it to think, and in time will re-encode that.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
definitely found that after having kids and seeing the change that my body went through with that and my stomach. And I always had a love-hate relationship with my stomach. Since having kids, I look at it now and just go, wow, like you are amazing. What you did, how it's stretched. And then it just bounces back. It's incredible. And
Yeah.
I've got this incredible scar where my babies were cut out. And
Mm-hmm.
I just I just look at that stuff now and go, holy shit, thank you,
Yeah.
body. Like you are
Yeah.
incredible. What you do, how you stretch, how you've, created life, how you've
Yeah.
sustained life, like just through my breasts. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
and to think that I
Absolutely.
spent so many years looking in the mirror and going, I hate that, I hate that, I hate that. I wish my thighs were skinnier. I wish my shoulders weren't so broad. I don't like my nose. Like, fuck,
Yeah.
so much wasted energy.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's okay. You know
But
now.
all part of my
And
journey as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And, by opening up the space and now talking about it and being so open and free as well, it's then inspiring other
Mm,
people to create that change within themselves. So, sometimes you've got
yeah,
to go through
absolutely.
those things. I know I wouldn't be where I am, without the journey that I've been on. So I'm extremely grateful for those things. But the other part of really thanking your body is it allows to say for yourself, your stomach, and to say your scar that you said that you've had, by thanking that part of your body in that process when it's healing, you would have healed a lot quicker compared to if you
Mm-hmm.
went, oh, like, I hate this scar, and I hate the way that my skin's coming back together, and would have helped the process as well. So, you know, anybody that has a sore knee, or just thank you, knee, you know, thank you for rebuilding yourself, and thank you for, you know, working so perfectly for me. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Pour
comes
love on
everything.
it. Love
Absolutely.
is powerful. Like, you just kind of, what's the saying? There's some kind of saying about plants. We pour love on plants or something. Imagine if we did that. I can't remember what it is. I'll pop it in the comments when I think
Yeah.
about it. But
Well, and there are
it's
ones
something
of,
about,
you know,
we.
people have had, if you imagine saying nice things to plants helps them grow. Imagine if we said the same to ourselves.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
And it's
there's
so
tests, you
true.
know,
Like,
there's
the more
people
you
that have
love
put
on
apples
something.
in jars and put them in the fridge and said mean things to one and positive things to the other, and the other stays nice and fresh and the other one rots. The words that we say to
Energy.
ourselves have the
Oh.
most impact. And we know that. We know that. It's and
It's just changing those habitual.
yeah, just rewiring. But again, making the what's, you know, hasn't been familiar unfamiliar.
Cool.
Absolutely.
So do you have any kind of top tips that you can share with us to boost body confidence?
Just be your best friend. That's my biggest one. You know, if you wouldn't say it, and because I've worked in retail for so long and I've heard so many things that women say to themselves, if you wouldn't say it to your daughter or to your best friend, your sister, those words don't belong being said to yourself, because at the end of the day, you are stuck with you. So that's by far my biggest one, that, you know, that sticks with me, and I think genuinely sticks with a lot of other people as well. When I, you know, tell them that, it sort of, it takes them a bit back. Ooh.
Yeah. And that's something I
But when
shared
it
on my
comes
group
to,
not
yeah,
long ago was, you are the one person that you are going to go home to every single night. It's a guarantee. You're a sure thing, you know. So why not go home to someone that you love, you know? And it's so true. Like, you get to go home, you get to choose who you go home to. You can either go home to someone that you love and, you know, cherish and speak kindly to and treat with respect, or you can go home and, you know, have a really fucked relationship with yourself. It's entirely up to
yeah,
you.
yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, more top tips would be, yeah, if you feel good, you're going to look good. You know, it doesn't matter sort of what you're wearing, it's how you're carrying yourself. So, and, you know, not being afraid to seek out to other people, you know, people that you might admire, or, you know, being in groups like this, and, you know, reaching out for people when you do need that bit of guidance and that support. You know, I've got incredible people around me now because we are who we surround ourselves with. And without those people building me up and, you know, allowing me to, you know, realize time and time again that I am unique and I am beautiful, and, you know, I'm smart and I'm vibrant and I'm kind, and I can remind myself of these things, but it is always a lot nicer when somebody else does. And that then rolls me into always making sure that you're telling other people how they make you feel, or the
Yes.
beauty that you see within them, because it takes a compliment to get a compliment, as they say, but also it then just, you know, positivity breeds positivity. And
Absolutely.
by being that person, you know, you might have to do it for a little while until the momentum picks up, but it will. That energy will shift, whether or not it's at work, or, you know, the bus driver, or whoever it might be. But kindness spreads like wildfire when it's there, and if you show up in that space. And my
But
biggest
showing up
tip,
genuinely, I think, is the key.
yeah,
Doing it genuinely and without expectation. As soon as you start
yeah,
expecting something back from it, the energy completely changes. The vibrations were
yeah,
all wrong. But doing it because you
absolutely,
genuinely feel something or
Yeah,
want to share something with someone is so powerful.
absolutely. But that's where it rolls into probably my next biggest thing would be when someone does give you a compliment, a genuine compliment, or maybe even just whatever compliment, accept it.
Mm, bang on, sister. Receive it. Don't
Like,
shut it down. Say
don't
thank
shut it
you.
down. Bring it on.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Even if it is hard to take, the amount of times that you go to someone, oh, you look so good today. Oh, this old T-shirt, I've had it for 20
Yeah,
years. It's accepting that compliment for that compliment, even if it is
yeah.
a 10-year-old T-shirt, or a
Doesn't matter.
hand-me-down, or from the op shop. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I feel
Just
fucking
accept
great
it.
today. Yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah,
accept it. And then you might see
absolutely.
somebody else later. It's, that paid forward. You don't have to then turn around to that person and say, oh, well, I love your shoes.
No,
It's, then saying, to the girl at the checkout, you know, thank you so much, and using their name on their badge, or just
yeah,
go that extra step when you can, because then the energy will
absolutely.
then start to shift around you.
And what you put out, you get back. What you put out, you get
Yeah,
back. I repeat it time and time
absolutely.
again. Law of attraction.
Yeah,
Put out the good stuff, get the good
yeah,
stuff back.
that's
It's
it.
amazing. It's awesome. I love it. I love playing with that stuff, especially if I'm noticing shit coming into my world where I'm like, oh, I don't like that, or I don't like that. And it's like, whoa, check in, Nick. What's going on inside? What are you putting out? Why, how are you attracting this? And as soon as you shift it, boom.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's just
Yeah.
told me that you are watching. That's random.
That
Did you get
I'm
that
watching.
notification? Yeah. Our Louise McBride is watching.
Oh, well, must be another
Interesting.
one of me.
It must be. Um, all right. So, what, rapid fire questions, which
Oh,
I did mention I was going to hit you with. What was the last book that you read?
oh, see, I'm the type of person where I read like 8 books at a time, and I have like books
Oh,
underneath
no.
my pillow and on my bedside tables, because I kind of weirdly think that as I'm sleeping, they're like going into my
It's
brain.
seeping into your brain.
Yeah.
I
Um,
love that.
but the Oh gosh, so many. Because I'm audiobooks, I'm
Mm,
hard books,
love
but probably
Audible.
creative visualization is one
Mm.
of them, and Peter Kelly's "The Earth Is Hiring" ebook.
I've just got that. I've
Yeah,
just ordered it. Oh, I
yeah,
downloaded the
it's
Audible, which I'm starting tomorrow. It's awesome.
yeah, it's a game changer. That's for sure.
Wicked.
Um, but yeah, I have a very long book collection that I love. But my favorite book of all time is Dr. Seuss' "Oh, the Places You'll Go." It's a
Ah, cool.
yeah, it's a very easy book to get a hold of, and it is life changing, especially if you've got children. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, awesome. I love that.
It's a good one for the adults as well. But yeah, that's my all time favorite.
There's so much gold in his stuff. So many little nuggets of that.
So many. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even I think I can like do the first like 4 minutes of the book, like without the book being in front of me. But it's
Mm.
like that's how much I love the book. I used to be able to do the whole thing.
Wow.
But yeah, it was like a party trick almost. But it just is, yeah, I can't say it enough. Just go and read it or look
Cool.
it
We'll
up.
do.
It's probably
Definitely. Yeah.
someone's probably read it on YouTube.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. I will. What did you have for lunch today?
What did I? No, it's so I had a pizza today.
Oh, nice.
Yes, and it was absolutely delicious. I
What was on
last
it?
night I'd gone out. I really don't go out all that often. I don't drink a lot. And yesterday I sort of just had this like, fire in this. Oh, I feel like, having a couple of drinks and, going out
Mm.
dancing. And so, yeah, so my lunch today was a bit of a sorry meal for, absorption. I only had 6 drinks and I swear I could have danced on tables. How do they let me?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's because you're not seasoned. What is it? You're not
Oh, I used
you're
to be
lacking.
though.
Oh, what do they call it? Yeah, I was a big drinker too.
I'm also not a
Not
parent. I think that helps. But
not a
I
parent.
used
Yeah,
to, I used to be able to knock back a lot, and
me
yeah, so
too.
it was quite funny.
Just,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of glad. Like I've got a girlfriend who's like, let's go out dancing, and I just kind of think and go, oh, I just don't
Oh, it's so
feel like
awful. Like
doing that
again, last
anymore.
night I realized why I don't do it.
Mm,
But you've got
it's
to
not
do it every
something
now and
I.
then. And I felt a bit, like, yeah, I've still got this. And then
Mm.
yeah, this morning I was like,
Like
I don't have this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I love red wine, so I would much prefer like to sit at home and drink a couple of glasses. But I'll get tipsy off one glass of red wine.
Yeah, it's
That's
okay.
but that's, lack of sleep, that's 2 kids, that's, a lot of
Yeah,
stuff going on there. But I used to knock back freaking a 1 liter bottle of vodka, no problem, and still be
I know.
walking.
It's
It's
crazy,
crazy.
isn't it? Yeah,
Hey? How
yeah.
times have changed. Thank God,
How
I must
times
say.
have
I'm quite
changed.
happy with that. Yeah.
Good.
All right. And what's your favorite quote or mantra that you can leave us with?
I'd have to say I'm enough.
Mm,
I've got it written everywhere.
so simple and so important.
It's just so simple. It's so simple. You can't forget it. And it's something that we all need to be reminded of. But I am a big fan of quotes. And when I used to, like I mentioned before, I was a regional for a clothing company. And when I left, they actually like printed off like an A4 page of all the quotes that I'd always say.
Oh, nice. Who was the company you
Yeah.
used to work for?
Ali Fashions.
Oh,
Ali.
okay. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Ally. Oh,
Yeah.
Ally. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I worked for them up here and then in Melbourne. Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Ah, happy birthday, Sky.
Wow.
Awesome. All right. And how can we support you moving forward? Do you have Facebook page, websites, groups? What have you
Yeah,
got
well,
going on that we can?
Facebook and Instagram, I'm just McBride. And then I do
Say that
have
again,
a
hun, because you
full
just cut out.
L Louise McBride is
For Facebook.
Facebook and Instagram, and then for my therapy, I'm the Haven kind. So
The Haven kind.
yeah, I can pop links
Awesome.
in
We'll get you to pop that
later.
in.
Yeah, but it's
Yep. Awesome.
the Haven kind at the moment is just like a space for people to sort of come and like there's a lot of quotes because like I said I love my quotes and just feel good things and tips and tricks on how we can rewire some thought patterns and yeah, definitely
Awesome. Is
just
that
things. That's all right, Sky. There's no time like right now.
exactly? Start now.
Yeah, you're here
So the
now.
Haven kind is exactly. That's all there is.
Yeah, so it's
Is the Haven kind a group or a page?
No, so it's just on Instagram at this stage. I do have a
Okay, cool.
business Facebook as well, Louise McBride. So it's
Mm-hmm.
all there.
Okay.
And yeah, it's
Cool.
evolving beautifully. So yeah. Sky, you might find on the
Awesome.
Haven Kind Instagram some positive things on there that might be nice to say. And again, if you just add that delta wave producing goodness, it will enhance it a lot quicker for you too. You'll notice changes faster.
I'm looking forward to practicing. I'm trying that stuff, especially this one.
Oh,
Like, I want someone to hug me. I'm just going to hug myself.
So you can just do the one as
crazy.
well.
It's so cool.
It's great. Like even for children that are going on the school bus that don't want to go, no one knows what you're doing. It's like, oh, that person must be cold. It's
Yeah.
Like, I could have done this whole interview being like this. You may have thought, like, can she stop that? But but also I could have had my hands, you know, as if I'm almost like washing them, but really softly.
Yeah.
So, well, I have done it for probably half of the interview.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And didn't even know. Yeah. But it's just allowing my brainwave to move at a slower rate compared to being in a, you know, fight or flight.
Yeah, okay, cool. Awesome. Awesome. I'm interested in learning more about that, actually. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's very new here in Australia, so it's been developed over 15 years in the US. But I'm one of the first 15 in Australia qualified in it. So.
Oh, awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Very new, which is exciting because no one knows what it is, but at the same time, it's, you know, you're always explaining it.
Trying to break into that. Or getting it out there and getting it known. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it already is. It is happening.
Here we are. Yeah.
Yep. All right, beauty. Thank you so much
for your
being
time.
here.
Thank you for those that jumped on or that watched the replay. Sending you lots of love.
Yes, awesome.
We'll catch up soon.
Yes, sounds great. Have a beautiful rest of your Sunday evening.
Yes, you too, you too.
Sending you much love. Bye, everybody.